Hi there. So let's continue with linear and non-linear ways of working and creating music with digital audio workstations. I have a link up there for the previous week video where I went through with certain digital audio workstations. So there is a part 1 already there if you happen to come into part 2. So in this part we will look at additional digital audio workstations and how do they support linear and non-linear creation. All right, let's get going. So like you saw in Pro Tools, when you start, you select actually between if you want to work with a sketch or you want to work with, the linear mode and arrangement view, kind of creating a song through that. So here in Logic, basically you have those both in at the same time. So you don't need to choose between, do I want to do a non-linear or linear way of doing songs when you actually are creating a project. So the project itself can live in both worlds, and the same in Logic Pro X, it's the same as it is in Ableton Live. So if I go here and I open a grid, I can actually take this loop and bring it here and then start just playing that in this side of a program. So I can let's see, I'll bring these two here, and then it will create a loop for me. And this is the way I do a non-linear way of music. So I can actually now go and launch and let's go and see that. Our master is not too loud, so let's launch these clips. So now only these two clips are playing, and you see that everything here got disabled. So now the play is on the loop side, and now that is basically where I could bring other loops that I want and then use them here and see that how it actually works, and create the song out of these loops in a non-linear fashion. And of course every digital audio workstation is a bit different, but the principles are there pretty much the same. So as here you can see that I have the non-linear mode, and then I have the linear mode, which is the traditional mode. And then of course from here I can go and I can then make another one disappear, and then look into the area where and when I want to use basically the linear mode, or if I want to go to a non-linear, I can just get rid of the linear mode. So this is how Logic Pro X is addressing this type of a workflow and ways of working. Next, let's go to Studio One. Okay, so this one is newest new in Studio One Pro 7, and the newest thing that they brought with this version, and I think what changes a lot is kind of this non-linear way of creating music. Traditionally, like every digital audio workstation have worked in a linear mode, except Ableton Live that basically came with the non-linear first, is that now finally also Studio One has this non-linear way of working. And as said, I have actually used Studio One quite a lot for creating music, but the one main reason why I went back to Ableton Live was that it did not support the non-linear creation. It did had the scratch pad, which is kind of like non-linear way, because you could be able to working in your scratch pad and then bring things into your arrangement. But now when they added basically the loops and then the part of loops and non-linear way of working, this is a totally different ballgame with Studio One 7. because I can now take, you know, here loops, and I can then bring them into the player and then test them individually. So I can now then start this loop and only, you know, do the nonlinear way of music as I have done. So I can see that now only these two are playing, and I get, you know, the thing working here, and not here. So this one actually also shows that where is the play currently going. So I could switch it between the linear mode and the non-linear mode. So again, in Studio One Pro 7, you are enabled to work in a non-linear mode, and then basically, you know, create your ideas here with loops and then transfer them into your arrangement and finalize the thing over there. So this is pretty significant update. Also, the thing is that here you have everything in one place, so the same project can be started in a non-linear fashion and then transferred into a linear mode quite easily. So that's basically what you can do now with Studio One Pro 7. Let's look next on Luna. Okay, so in Luna you basically have the traditional way of working in a linear mode. Of course, you can create this type of loops, and you can loop things and bring kind of create things in a smaller chunks, so you don't need to kind of go all the way and record a band. So of course you can do that, but the only thing that Luna currently offers is a linear mode, in a sense that you can of course loop things, but you don't have that type of a session view or grid view or sketch view or so that you would be able to create first the loops and ideate through that, and then eventually bring them into an arrangement. So here you only have in Luna, you have an arrangement. So it is a great tool for recording and mixing and mastering, but for non-linear creation, it does not have support yet. Okay, let's move into BitWig. Alrighty, so I have a very old one, BitWig. I haven't updated it. It's a version 3.3.4, I guess. At one point I used to work with BitWig as well, and because I had challenges with Ableton Live, but obviously it seems that it was more about the Mac OS problem, that it crashed a lot, than a problem with Ableton Live, which I actually found later. Anyway, I was thinking that it was crashing me all the time, and I wanted to use similar approach with the non-linear creation, so I went to BitWig and used BitWig for a while, and that's why I have the version 3.3. I haven't upgraded it, so you will see a lot of things like missing plugins and things like that. But the main point that I want to demonstrate here is that BitWig is also kind of providing, and has provided from the beginning, maybe actually it was most likely the next one provide this after Ableton Live, a non-linear way of creating music. So you are having here also the clip based and grid based approach, like the session view in Ableton Live. So you are able to create the ideations from different type of clips and then build different type of scenes, and then when you are happy you can then transfer and translate that into arrangement in an arrangement view and get rid of the grid. And this is still kind of a core functionality from a workflow point of view in BitWig as well today. So even if you are running like the new version 5 and so on and so forth, this is of course there because it has been there from the beginning. So in that sense, BitWig is one of those digital audio workstations that support non-linear and linear creation of music. Let's move next to Cubase. Alright, so when it comes to Cubase, Cubase is also still more of a standard digital audio workstation where you basically can work in a linear mode. They don't have any grid or things like that you could work in a non-linear mode. Most likely they are working with this type of a feature as this has been a trend that more and more digital audio workstations are introducing a non-linear way of working and creating music, like we saw with Studio One Pro 7 just. But with Cubase you basically have the way of working is the linear way. Of course you can again here, like with Luna, you can loop things and you can create things in a loop if you want, but it doesn't provide the facility of loop player and clip or session view or grid view as you have seen in some other digital audio workstations. So I'm expecting that to come here as well, most likely, but we'll see when. Alright, so that was about Cubase. So Cubase only supports a linear mode of working. And if that's one of your selection criteria to use a digital audio workstation that has a non-linear way of working, then Cubase is out of that list. Other than that, it's a great DAW, but it doesn't support the same approach as some others. Okay, so now we are in Reason, and I have a Reason 13, but it has been a Reason already for a while. And it's actually a pretty hidden feature, but it enables you to do non-linear creation, not in a grid way, but similarly as Studio One had the scratch pad. This is a similar type of an approach for a non-linear creation, and I'll show you how it works in Reason 13 and in other Reasons as well. But as said, it's a hidden gem in Reason, so if you want to work in a non-linear way and you want to create these ideations like intros, verse, and so on and so forth, and play around with those, this is how you do it in Reason. So you need to go to Options, enable block mode and blocks. So once you enable blocks mode, you are able to create blocks, and these blocks you can create, all the way, at least there is 32 different blocks that you can create. So you can have 32 different variations of blocks. The blocks can be, 4 bar, 8 bar, whatever the size of the block you want to have. And for example, now I have created a block to enable pretty much intro. But then I also have created a block where I have verse. I have verse in. So this is just a dummy example to bring some additional instrument in verse. And then I have the last is chorus, which is 8 bars. And it brings in basically the synthesizer. But when you have basically created these blocks, you can go back to the song mode. And here, in order to start working with blocks, you actually need to go and enable the pen. And you have now here the block where you can select that what block you are now gonna draw in. So first I would basically draw in an intro. Then I would go and draw in a verse. And then lastly I would go and draw in chorus. Let's actually zoom this a bit other way around so that we get more landscape. So now I go and I draw like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 chorus. Then I can go back to verse and then bring that and then I can go back to chorus again and bring that. So now I have created an arrangement out of the blocks. So I have done things in a non-linear fashion. I've been just creating these blocks, and then I'm pasting the blocks into a timeline, and then I have my linear song here. So yeah, this is basically how you can work in a non-linear fashion in Reason and also in linear fashion. So of course you can choose what works best for you. So this basically wraps up the different digital audio workstations that I have and I have experience too, and where basically which one support a non-linear creation and which one don't. So yeah. Alrighty, so that concludes the story regarding on the workflow when working in a non-linear or linear fashion. The linear fashion was there like from the beginning, then there has been some digital audio workstations that introduced the non-linear way of working, and now it seems to be trend and many digital audio workstations are bringing the non-linear way of working into. It started with Ableton Live, but now you have, like we saw, BitWig, we have Logic Pro, we have Pro Tools, we have Studio One, and we have Reason who support a non-linear way of working as well as linear way of working. So others are most likely catching up. If you like the channel, remember to subscribe for the content and like the videos to support my doings, so that would be awesome as well. Thanks for watching. Bye now.